Coming to you live from the Danforth University Center here at Washington University in St. Louis. This is the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program on KWUR Cleat 90.3 FM and simulcast across the country via wutv for this March the 4th, year 2014. We got a lot to do today. We got some football news, get into the spring training later on. But you know, for all of those watching, I was faced with quite the dilemma this week. As about Monday of this week rolled around, and Altieri, my co-host, told me that he had to fly back for a job interview. So I thought, who am I going to get that's good? Who am I going to get that's good-looking enough to replace Alexander Altieri?
And no one was available.
And no,
they got me.
And no one was available. So I thought to myself, you know what? Let's rewind the clocks a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go back
all
to
the clocks.
All the clocks.
Not just the clock.
Let's go back to where this all started. And with that, please welcome my dear, dear friend to the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program, and that is the great Ryan Thier. Good evening, Ryan. How are you doing, buddy?
Good evening, Teddy. Great to be here. This is a dream come true. All year, I beg Teddy, please let me come on just once. The kid makes it big time. All of a sudden, we're not friends anymore. I was there when he wasn't a star, folks. Not like Altieri, who just
Not
shows
like
up.
Altieri. Well, this is really where the radio career began. It was right here in this studio. Switch seats, though. I was in that seat. You were in this seat. And we were breaking down.
Yeah, springs were flying out of microphones.
and now we got it all fixed, right?
Exactly. Look at this. Yeah.
You know, we're on TV now, by the way.
This is Blue Heaven. Are we on TV?
This is Blue
I thought you were filming this for your personal archives.
This is Blue Heaven.
This is on TV. All right,
I like
great.
that. Well, this is sort of like, you know, and let me plug you for a second. So Ryan Thier, for all of those listening on 90.3 FM, we welcome you first to the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program, and you know, glad you could join us on this Wednesday night. But Ryan is the host of the Cab Ride Home, the highest rated weekend show here at Washington University.
Yeah.
You know, the last 2 weeks ratings have been through the roof on that one.
Well, yeah, the last 2 weeks coincidentally I haven't actually been present. Apparently, it's had a big effect on ratings, so
it's
very upsetting.
Right.
But of all the KWUR shows involving cabs in the title, we are in the top 3.
We are in the top 3. Well, you know, Ryan, we got a lot to do, but first, I really want to break down the Peter Borges trade. How about that?
It's just been finalized.
It's just been finalized.
Very exciting.
The backstory to that one is that I came on Ryan's show about, I think it was almost a year ago, and Peter Borges had just been traded.
We got to sign down.
Oh, did we get a sign down? All right.
Everyone's favorite weekly tradition.
It'll be exactly, and I came on the air, and I was unaware that the trade had already happened, so that's the reason why I'm getting flack for that. Anyway, let's
why you're giving yourself flack for that? As I sit here not mentioning it.
That's the truth. Anyway, let's jump. You can go ahead and fix that, by the way. Your live mic still works.
Yeah.
So go ahead, just like, you know, put that up on the wall. There's tape on the back.
Do you have a hammer?
No, you don't need a hammer.
They'll never let
like
us.
I'm telling you, like, go fix it.
Yeah. Okay. But the sign assistant man, does he make Altieri do these things? I'd like to see how he would react.
We start with the New York Metropolitans, and Rye, a lot of controversy in the past 24 hours, something new and different for the circus act that we're used to in Queens. Obviously, the big story
is it okay if I eat in here?
I think the DJs.
David Wright would come in and scream at me.
They would scream at you, right? Bobby Parnell's going to come and throw your lunch in the trash.
Exactly, yeah. Daniel Murphy would not agree with that lifestyle.
No, we'll get into that in a sec, but oh boy. And so to start off, you know, obviously the big story, for those of you who don't know, Noah Syndergaard, the highly touted Mets pitching prospect, was their first spring training game, and he was in the clubhouse, right, during the game. He was not scheduled to pitch that game, but he was in the clubhouse, and he was eating his lunch like a sandwich. I don't know, it was a Subway or something.
Sandwich.
And then David Wright comes into the clubhouse, like during the game, I guess, you know, he had to take a leak or something.
Teddy. It's a family program. Come on.
We only talk about the other one here on this station. Or old management does. I don't know about new management.
Under new management.
I don't know what they prefer. So anyway, Wright comes in, yells at him, and then Bobby Parnell comes in and actually throws his lunch in the trash. And Ryan, I don't know, but if you ask me, that sounds pretty harsh.
I wonder if it's taken out of context and Bobby Parnell was just helping him by throwing his lunch away for him. Or he said, hey, Rook, let me help you. I'll clear your tray for you.
You know, people are saying that they did the right thing. They were teaching him a lesson. I don't know. That sounds pretty harsh to me.
Yeah, that's bad. That sounds like hazing. I know you know all about hazing. I don't have to get into that now on this program. Maybe off air, but these are the sort of things.
I'm gonna.
That's a hot mic here. But yeah, not a good look for Noah Syndergaard, but a classic case of sports overreacting to nothing. I hear he was just eating a hot dog in the clubhouse.
Right.
I don't know why these people take their job so much more serious than everything else. What other profession?
Since when is David Wright, like all of a sudden, you know, the Derek Jeter of New York?
Yeah, exactly.
Since when does he care?
Yeah. I don't know.
He's been happy collecting paychecks, getting off of work early, so to speak. You know, September 1st.
He already has his flights booked.
Yeah, he's got his paycheck. Hey, my wrist hurts. Let me take some time off.
Yeah.
Willie Randolph, what do you think?
Yeah, get hit right in the head with the fastball. You got to play through it, David Wright. Then you can talk about a sandwich.
But unbelievable, really. And, you know, I read an article.
I mean, it's also, not to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you, but a lot worse than the sandwich thing.
By the way, I have to fix the sign.
A lot worse than the sandwich thing is this Daniel Murphy thing, which I'm not sure if you have thoughts about that, but everyone's talking about Noah Syndergaard eating a hot dog at an inappropriate time, and Daniel Murphy is talking about how being gay is a choice and how it's a lifestyle he 100% doesn't agree with. And my favorite quote at the end, Daniel Murphy talking about, you know, homosexual relationships, saying, that's not love. That's not love at all. So we've got Daniel Murphy, our in-house poet, physicist, psychologist, doctor. Daniel Murphy, folks. Can't run the bases, though.
No, he cannot. All you needed to get Duaner Sanchez back in the mix, and they were ready to go, right? Mm-hmm. But to me, and we'll get into the Murphy thing in a second. But to me, I was reading an article in the New York Post, the only unbiased newspaper in New York, by the way. Not according to Miss Icard in 8th grade. The New York Times is the only unbiased newspaper. That was a joke and a half. But so the article was saying that this is the first signs of the Mets becoming more like the Yankees. That they're not letting crap like this fly.
The anti-homosexual viewpoint?
Yeah, exactly
the Yankees bigots as well.
Exactly right.
It's interesting.
And you know, to me, it's just laughable. I mean, I think back. Listen, there have been plenty of issues on the Mets that you could look and say, hey, that would never happen on the Yankees. Carlos Delgado not coming out for the national anthem. You know, you got Luis Castillo and Oliver Perez choosing to go to a hacienda rather than going to the New York Mets philanthropy events. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that one, but that one was...
The hacienda's good.
That
was a
good
time.
You want to hear a funny story about the hacienda? Not to digress too much. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing my internship right now, and it's a real estate firm, and I was told to find all of the major supermarkets in an area in Jacksonville, Florida. And so I'm typing up, and it's a really ambiguous task that I'm given, but I want to do a damn good job, right? I want to be impressive to these people. So I'm looking up my stuff, and I come up with a list of 20 things. And my boss, great guy, you know, he's from Chicago, a very thick accent. I walk into his room, he takes my list, and he goes, what the hell? What is that? What do you got? Haciendas on here? I want Publix, Walgreens, and I don't want that. This is funny. It reminded me of it.
All right, Teddy, we're talking here. What's your problem with your boss? Bad guy?
Okay, he's a great guy. And he actually might be listening, so I got to be real respectful. Yeah. But Brett is a tremendous guy, and if you have a
He sounds a little bit like a supermarket elitist.
I think he is.
That's not good.
That's a good way to describe him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, yes, and then the Daniel Murphy thing, of course. Mm-hmm. You know, could you please keep it to yourself?
Yeah. What do you? Who's ever won by saying this? Yeah.
By the way, I'm very confused. The guy, and you know, it's a great thing that this old ex-baseball player Billy Beane came and talked to the Mets, but I'm confused. That's not the Billy Beane. No, different Billy Beane.
It's different. It's a player.
I was so confused today.
There's no E at the end. It's just B-E-A-N. There's no E at the end.
I was so confused. I was looking.
I missed that chapter on Moneyball.
I was gonna say, but it's not an accurate description.
It's on the DVD.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's not honestly. Don't let this get in the way of my favorite Prime 9 episodes, you know?
No.
I don't want to hear about this.
Teddy needs his Prime 9.
Trini Kisneri can, please, go in the
Don't
NFL.
Don't push your politics on me, pal. All right, that's all I would say.
I mean, listen, you could do a lot of the go on the NHL network with that. You'll be good to go over there.
Just a shot fired.
It's a shot fired and a half.
View on. Yeah.
Speaking of the Mets, though, Rye, this could be a real scary team this year.
For Met fans or for opponents?
For opponents.
Okay.
I mean, for the first time since 2006, the New York Mets come into spring training, and this is like the '04 Red Sox with the fans crowding the gates and the whole bit. But, let's look at this rotation for a second, Rye. Matt Harvey, Zach Wheeler, DeGrom, Neese, Cologne, Syndergaard, Montero. I mean, this is unbelievable. The fact that you're going to go into this season and have 3 guys in Cologne and and Neese who could very well become trade bait come April 20th, given the progression of Montero and Syndergaard, is scary.
That's true, and the one thing you can never have in baseball is too many arms, and the Mets definitely seem to have that, which is definitely a great problem to have. But if I'm a Met fan, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that I have 9 people who can start legitimately,
right,
and I don't have a shortstop.
It's the truth. That's the truth.
And you're talking could potentially become trade, but I'm talking right now, flip somebody. There was talk for Troy Tulowitzki, a big package for him. I would have loved that if I was a Met fan. Yeah, Dilson Herrera.
But see,
I mean, they got him. Yeah. Besides, he's a second baseman, really.
But you know what? I'm going to disagree with you on that one because I am not, think back to those years when the Red Sox had all that, that surplus of starting pitching, and their 6, 7, 8 were Arroyo, and Wakefield and all these guys who would be real solid 3 and 4s on any other team. And guys get hurt. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how Harvey's going to do coming back. Wheeler has been very up and down. DeGrom has only done it once. So you got to keep these guys, and that's why I disagree with your point that they should go and start flipping in spring training.
You're not wrong that you need insurance. You obviously do need a 6th guy out there in the bullpen in case something happens, someone goes down. You need to be prepared for injuries, but that doesn't mean you have excess pitching at the cost of not having a shortstop. You got to field a team of starters first. Then worry about insurance. There's a reason they're backups.
Right. No, that's the truth. But here's the thing, and this is the way that I look at the shortstop position, right? The Mets lineup this year it's got the potential to be very mediocre, but it's also got the potential to be really freaking good. That there are a lot of guys. Look at it this way, okay? Look at the big heavy hitters. You got David Wright and you got Lucas Duda. These are the 2 guys who, if they can put up numbers like they're supposed to, and I know that's sort of like the buzzword here, but if they can put up numbers, you have a bunch of role players behind you. It almost doesn't matter what you get out of Tejada or or whoever's playing shortstop for them. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. If David Wright can return to his 2010 form of, 25, give me 20 home runs and drive in 100 runs, which will be very doable with this lineup.
Because RBIs matter, right? The most meaningless stat in baseball. Let's have a moratorium on the word RBI.
Well,
let's throw those out. Driven by opportunity, they mean nothing. So let's not worry about RBI.
Okay, but my point is that if Wright can go back to being a real anchor in this lineup, right? And then if Duda can do anything reminiscent of what, all Duda needs to do, he can bat 140 for all I care. He's got to be able to sit back and jack 30 home runs. And if he can do that, and if Wright can do that, then you got guys like, you got KWUR, you got Murphy.
Which KWUR, by the way, spare me with this being a good move. It's ridiculous. The compensation, you're giving up a first-round pick for Michael KWUR for 2 years of KWUR.
But Ryan, that was the only thing that was out there that they could afford it that makes sense. And I agree with you 100%, and I was screaming about it in this seat when it happened.
Hey, Michael KWUR, give me a break.
But looking back...
He's friends with David Wright.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the hot dogs and your friends. David Wright's just throwing out there for people. His OPS plus last year, 101.
Right.
Which OPS of 100 means you're average. So he's 1% better than your average player. Let's see, what did he make last year?
But you can't... Listen, I understand...
$20 million to be average.
Right.
Now we can sign his friend, give up a first-round pick. But at least we have 10 pitchers.
But KWUR makes sense. Listen, look at the free agent class this year was not very strong, correct?
Yeah, not great.
Okay. KWUR was the only guy out there who, A, fit the Mets system. And you know what? You're bringing up this whole friend scenario with David Wright. Don't discount that.
I'm discounting it.
But that's ridiculous. Well, I mean,
that they're friends?
Yes. I'm not saying...
Let's bring his aunt in. Pamela Wright.
I'm not saying...
Come on. Everybody.
I'm not saying that you need to be, you got to... I'm saying that with the New York Mets, a team that have clearly had an identity problem for the last umpteen years, right? Now you get a chance to start to really build a core. And you know what? If Michael KWUR makes sense and is friends with the guy, then for crying out loud,
I mean, this is the thing of the problem with baseball.
I don't see Brandon Nimmo anywhere.
I mean, Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto, they have good prospects, and they have I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Dominic Smith? They have a good first base prospect. You know, they have young hitters. All I'm saying is, why are you giving up a first-round pick? You're just starting to get prospects going. And do friends, is that meaningless? I don't know. I haven't been in the MLB in a long time. I don't remember what it's like in the clubhouse. But ask most Met fans to take a poll. Would you rather have David Wright's buddy or a shortstop?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in baseball. Baseball's the worst sport for it. And you were talking about that article. Yeah. Now they're becoming like the Yankees.
Right.
Were the Yankees because they didn't let anyone eat seafood in the clubhouse? Or they're the Yankees because they had Jorge Posada and Andy Pettitte and Derek Jeter?
Yeah, it's a fair
Tino
point.
Martinez. That's why they were the Yankees. I mean, give me a break.
Right. But here's the other thing now. So taking this back to their lineup, right? You got guys, and I understand your argument with the kid, but take the draft pick out of it, okay? I understand David Wright has been a very average player of late. If, and this is a huge if, he can drive in anywhere close to 100 runs, and
we're not doing RBIs.
All right.
We're not doing RBIs.
All right, lose the RBIs.
Yeah.
If he can be a productive player, and if Duda can hit home runs, you got Kadire who can hit the ball out, and now here's my linchpin in this lineup is Curtis Granderson.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned Granderson because I was reviewing the tape. You know, I'm in there like John Gruden studying film.
Of this show or of?
I'm studying film of your show.
Of my
from
show.
Last week, and I hear this idea about Curtis Granderson hitting leadoff.
Well, yeah, I think it's a tremendous idea.
You think I'm going to give you a chance now to take it back?
Why?
Why? What in what world is he a good leadoff hitter? What is Curtis Granderson?
Yeah.
Low average, low OBP, some power.
I got two words for you. Jason Hayward. What it did for him, Curtis Granderson is not going to hit home runs in Citi Field. He's not.
Then he shouldn't be on the team. If Curtis Granderson's not hitting home runs, he's not a starter.
No, see, that's absurd. That's wrong to me. Because this was a guy who, when he played on Detroit, go look at those 2006, 2007 numbers. Now, I know that's a while ago, and I know that he's significantly older now. But you know what? That's the type of player that Curtis Granderson excels at. He went to the Yankees, and all of a sudden he sees his short field and his short porch and right, decides, I'm going to hit 40 home runs in a season, comes to Queens, can't do it.
So what are you saying?
Bring him back to what he was in Detroit.
What, speed guy?
A speed guy who can drive and runs. And you know what?
Why are you making him lead off hitter if you want to drive and runs? Curtis Granderson last year, his OBP was 326. Year before 317. Year before 319. You want that as your leadoff hitter.
It's the mentality, though. He was in
can't get on base.
He was in the 4-hole. And he didn't need, first of all, there was no one for him to get on base for behind him. That's number one. He honestly took, and this is the thing, he took it upon himself to be the 4-hitter. Curtis Granderson, in what world is Curtis Granderson a 4-hitter? He's not.
He's not. I don't think he's a starter. I mean, who are you slotting him in there for? Lagares is obviously your center fielder.
Right.
No question.
Right.
That guy can't hit much. He's a Gold Glover. Could be the best defensive center fielder in the game.
And he could be the best damn number 8 hitter in the National League, too. You know? This is my argument that I always say with the Yankees why Brett Gardner should not be leading off. He should be batting ninth. You want a guy in that 9-hole who can slap the ball around, get on base, and to your point that Curtis Granderson shouldn't lead off because he's not going to be able to drive in runs, false. Because look at the back of that lineup, okay? If you're going to have Darno in the 8-hole, and you're going to have, or whoever the shortstop is in the 8-hole, and you're going to have Lagares in the 9-hole, two speedy guys, right? No doubt. So if they get on base, then you got Granderson, you got Murphy, you got Wright, you got Duda. That's where
you want your leadoff guy. It's just logic. There's this whole fallacy. You need someone fast as your leadoff hitter, which does not make sense.
Right.
Just get someone who'll get on base.
But this is not my own idea. Terry Collins has been talking about this.
Well, then he should stop talking about it because it should be Daniel Murphy.
I'll tell Jay Horowitz. I'll get Jay Horowitz on the phone.
It's been proven again and again. There have been papers and stuff. You want your best hitter hitting second. That's where you want your best hitter. So give me David Wright second. Give me Daniel Murphy and his alternative lifestyles first. And then I'll let you play with it 3, 4, 5.
Daniel Murphy in the 1-hole would be an interesting.
Get me someone who can get on base.
An interesting
then
move.
Get me my best hitter.
Right.
And then you can have your crackpot theories.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call them crackpot, but okay. Point being, I also think, by the way, best thing that ever happened to Curtis Granderson was Kevin Long joining the New York Mets. Because think about it. Yeah. I mean, listen. I was sad to see him go. I really was. I think Kevin Long is a tremendous. Didn't he analyze your swing once?
Yeah, there's a great video of I went to the game with a couple of my friends.
Yeah.
We hung around the first row, and one of my friends had his swing on tape, and he showed it to Kevin Long, and Kevin Long's in the dugout, just like going like this, like giving him a hitting lesson. So yeah, it's definitely a big Kevin Long fan. Yes.
That was awesome. Andrew, can we get Kevin Long on the show?
Get him
next
on the
week?
horn.
Well, I'll try.
All right, get him on the show next week.
Yeah.
Listen, but give me your honest thought, because you're someone who, I think generally has a very good pulse of teams, right? Is the hype real here? Is this a team that's going to win 90 games? Are they going to compete with the Nationals?
No. They're not. I'm optimistic for the Mets. It's getting better. They have good prospects. But, I mean, they're not competing with the Nationals, who are arguably the best team in baseball. You know, I think it's Nationals, Dodgers 1-2 in the National League. The Mets aren't even the second best team in their division. The Marlins are ahead of them. Braves are going to be bad this year.
Braves are going to be real
Phillies
bad.
are going to be
and
bad
Freddie
this
Gonzalez
year.
is on the hot seat.
So they're the third best team in the division.
Right. But you don't think that this pitcher, you know,
How many 90 games?
Let's say that Wheeler comes into form, Harvey is back to normal, DeGrom continues what he's doing, and let's say you get a guy like Syndergaard who comes up this year and just wipes everyone off the map. If you have 4 guys going, and obviously this is a very idealistic world.
You're a dreamer.
I am a dreamer, but you don't think that could be, you know, you could get something going there?
I think what would excite me more is obviously first and foremost Harvey coming back strong. But then getting all these guys clicking, and you have excess pitching. Let me flip one of them for, I don't know, Javier Baez.
Right.
Give me a shortstop with some pop. Please.
Right.
No more Wilmer Flores.
Yeah.
Man's got a banjo for a bat.
Got a banjo for a bat. 22
It's not even a good
past the
fielder.
hour. Getting ready with Teddy, KWUR, Clayton 90.3 FM. And, you know, the other baseball news, obviously, I want to get to right before we go to break here is Josh Hamilton and his unfortunate drug relapse. So this story broke over the weekend. And it really is a sad story. You know, a real tremendous efforts by Josh Hamilton, you know, for all public accounts, and he had a cocaine and alcohol relapse. And, you know, this isn't the first time that he's relapsed for all of those who are loosely following the story. He's had alcohol relapses before, and, you know, I'm no doctor.
Well, this was also drugs.
This was drugs, too. And you know, and I feel like that's a bigger deal. Right, this is a big decision that Rob Manfred has, though, as to what to do with him.
I mean, he had failed the test before and been suspended in the minor leagues. You know, he was out of the game for a while.
Right.
I mean, I remember in his book he talks about his addiction to cocaine and taking a knife at home and cutting out the sinuses of his nose. Because it's bad.
Yeah,
it's
real bad.
It's sad. I mean, and it's horrible. You know, obviously on a human level, but also on a baseball level. One of the most talented players in the sport.
Yeah, really is.
I mean, the sad irony is the Angels
could
be better without him.
But if you're Manfred here, I mean, what, you know, like.
I mean, he came forward, he owned it, but you got to suspend him. You don't have to bury the guy, but you got to suspend him.
You can't bury the guy. You know, it's very obviously Rob Manfred is you know, this is his first rodeo, so to speak. You know, I am almost hesitant to say, while you want to protect the integrity of the sport, you got to take his personal MO into consideration here. And here's a guy who, you know what, I'm just going to go on a limb here. Baseball's all he's got, you know? Mm-hmm. And for something like this to happen, I completely agree with you. You cannot bury the guy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of obviously very different circumstances, but it's sort of the way that Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, you know, when he had the whole Donald Sterling mess, you know, that was right when he took over, and, you know, he acted swiftly.
Yeah, people with addiction are the same as racists. I've always said that. I've long had that view. I've been ridiculed.
24 minutes to the hour. We're gonna go to break, and then we're gonna do a PSA. So you are listening to KWUR Clayton 90.3 FM and simulcast across the country via wutv. Back after this. 26 minutes till the hour here in the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program on KWUR Cleat 90.3 FM and simulcast across the country via wutv. Before we get back to it here, we got a few quick words from our good friend the Rye Guy.
Yes, time for an important public service announcement. Asbestos and lead. Older buildings may contain asbestos and lead. Pipe or other insulation, ceiling tiles, exterior siding, roof shingles, and sprayed-on soundproofing may contain asbestos. Lead is a toxic metal that causes many negative health effects, especially in young children. Disturbing materials containing lead-based paint may release lead dust into the air. If your home contains asbestos or lead-based paint, any of these materials have been damaged or will be disturbed during cleanup. Talk to public health authorities. Removed materials should be handled while still wet or damp, double-bagged and labeled. You should wear gloves, goggles, and a face mask. Avoid activities that will generate dust, such as sweeping or vacuuming debris that may contain asbestos or lead. Do not use a belt, sander, propane torch, heat gun, dry scraper, or dry sandpaper to remove lead-based paint. Temporarily move your family out of the apartment or house until the work is done and the area properly cleaned. This message is from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
You really put a lot of heart into that one, you know? It's like Mike when he talks about his hoodie-footy pajamas, all right?
Exactly.
You gotta love her, you know, make it warm for the holidays.
Oh, my boy Jack.
So, yeah, you got Emily, you got Jack, you got the whole family. So you got hoodie-footy pajamas, you know, they're great. They're great.
That's how I feel about them.
Yeah, you know, you could put a little bit more oomph into that.
Okay.
Take note.
I will.
Anyway, Rye, the New York Yankees, and you know, I feel like this is, you know, for you, you're the West Coast guy, but you know, we're bringing it back. Mad Dog talking about the Yanks, and you know, so you know, we'll start it off. Obviously, I don't want to get too much into the whole Alex Rodriguez nonsense because it is nonsense to me. But obviously, his first game back against the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday afternoon, and in his first at bat. Beautiful strokes a single into the left field.
Just like that.
Is he going to be a factor this year for the New York Yankees?
I think he could hit. Why not? He'll give you some hitting. I'd say an OPS plus a 120.
Is it going to be just, I mean, why is no one saying that A-Rod is going to come? I know the answer to this, but you don't think there's any chance that A-Rod comes back and it's like, bang?
I mean, he's 38 years old, a lot of surgeries. He's not going to be the old A-Rod. I don't think anyone even thinks that's a possibility. You see them, they're working him out at first base. This is a guy who was the best shortstop in baseball. Better shortstop than Jeter defensively, but, you know, wasn't going to move him off the spot.
Right.
So, I mean, this isn't the same guy. He's 38. The Yankees, I think, they would sign up for in a second. You know, no distractions, 15 home runs.
Right. And I think it's fair to say that
40 OBP.
I think it's fair to say that for the time being, A-Rod is aware that he's got to cut the crap, so to speak.
I think it's all very hypocritical, you know, how much everyone hates A-Rod. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, what did he do? Take steroids? There are people, you know, Ryan Braun lied, accused the guy of anti-Semitism, ruined his life, and no one cares nearly as much.
Right.
There are people who drunk drive. There are people who beat their wives. There are people who speed.
Yeah.
You know, drunk drive, speeding, the guy Drake Britton on the Red Sox. People who put other people's lives in danger and actually hurt other people, and no one really cares.
Right.
But A-Rod, you know, puts, you know, a needle in himself.
Right.
Ends up losing money, hurts himself, and everyone hates him. So it's very ridiculous. I'm rooting for A-Rod.
All right.
He also gave me his batting glove after a game, so A-Rod's tops in my book.
Did he do that?
He did. After Red Sox, he tossed me his batting glove. So
you know who
I'm
wasn't,
all for A-Rod.
You know who wasn't very nice to me during a
game?
I
do.
That's the one.
Ruben Sierra.
That's
hit me in the face with a bat.
Did you make the? What joke did you make to me the other day?
Ruben Sierra.
Yeah, you made a Ruben. No, it wasn't you.
I was gonna say.
Someone made a Ruben Sierra joke. I'll get to that in the end of the show because I wanted to say a little something.
Staging me.
It'll all make sense at the end of the show why I'm being so ambiguous here. Anyway, you know, we go into the season for the New York Yankees, and obviously there's a lot of question marks in the starting pitching. You know, between Tanaka coming back, is he going to be the pitcher?
Well, I don't like what I read about Tanaka the other day, that he changed his motion.
Yeah, I don't like
not hurt him. I don't like that.
No, you know, it's like. To me, here's a guy who we really caught lightning in the bottle last year. Great signing, this, that, the other. Obviously, he gets hurt because who doesn't nowadays if you're a starting pitcher?
Kershaw, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Listen.
Well, he actually got hurt too. He had a back thing, missed a month.
He did, right.
Still won MVP.
Unbelievable, yeah. 21 wins, missed a month of the season.
Wins, again, like RBIs. We don't care about wins.
Okay, Billy Bean with an E.
Might be the funniest joke you've ever made.
I'm not Daniel Murphy.
I'm nothing.
So, anyway, CC Sabathia. here's the guy for me, okay? Every year we come into spring training, and it's like a routine. CC is in the best shape of his life. He feels so good. He's so ready. This has been the same bit since 2012, since his last year of having 15 wins and a sub 4.5 ERA.
I mean, it's always, you can mark it down with the pen, not a pencil, because you're not going to be erasing this.
Right.
You hear these people show up to camp, they say, I gained 15 pounds of muscle. Did it differently this offseason. Or, alternatively, I lost 20 pounds. Next season, they always go back to what they normally did.
Right.
And very few exceptions to that. These people, they change everything.
Right.
And then it just, everything else changes.
No.
And they end up going back to, I had it with Amari and the Knicks. He gains weight, he loses weight.
Right.
He takes baths in red wine, white wine, rosé, everything.
Yeah.
And
it's the truth.
It's not how it goes.
No, it's not. And to me, finally, so CC comes into the camp this year and he says, I didn't lose weight this offseason. Like, I'm done with
back
this.
to my 2 boxes of Captain Crunch.
But it's the truth. And, to me, that's a good sign. So put that there, because I'm about to become very negative on Carlton.
Carlton.
What did I say?
Karsten.
I said Carson. Excuse me.
Carson.
He's
Carson Kleiner, Charles Sabathia.
Well, watch out. She might be listening.
She is a fan, I hear. Big fan.
So then, so that's good news. But on the flip side, he's still with the whole nonsense, how good he feels. How, listen.
Yeah, I want to hear how bad you feel, CC.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's still throwing 89.
Yeah,
and I'm not
CC,
saying
I wouldn't really put too many eggs in that basket.
I just don't see CC as being the type of guy who's going to recover from having an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. It's the whole Randy Johnson complex. Think about his years on the Yankees, okay? His first year he comes in, wins 15 games, right? He has a high ERA, but fine. Still is a good pitcher. Strikes out a bunch of guys. In the middle of that year to the next season is when his velocity really started to dip. And he never put it back together. And all this talk about how he has to learn to become more of a pitcher and this and that. But Rye, this is the same thing that we're seeing with CC. These big power guys with the left-handers, big fastball, put-away slider, they don't know what to do after they,
It's not easy to reinvent yourself. You have something, he's probably the hardest thrower on his team since he was about 8, right, in Little League. And all of a sudden, he's the scrappy old guy.
Right.
And you have to change everything. It's not easy. Not everyone can be as graceful as our good friend Libby Candell. You switch grades. You have to readjust. A lot of people can't make that transition. You've got to reinvent yourself.
I was waiting for that
it's
one.
Not easy.
That was a good one. You set that up well, too. See, I was I was thinking more along the lines of thinking back to our not CYO, the Baseball Center, Baseball League days, and I was thinking of the Guy Rob, was that his name?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't want to know. Bad.
Guy Rob was this
very, very, very bad.
Guy Rob was this kid who, for whatever reason, he was like good. He threw hard. He could hit the ball far, but he wasn't like the best thing since sliced bread. And the guy who ran the league that Ryan and I played in he had a man crush on this kid.
He was a switch hitter. Everyone loves that. Even if you're bad, both sides.
I remember in that league, the first at bat I ever had, I'll never forget this. I put on a helmet that was way too tight. And I felt like my head was
that explains so much. Something happened with that helmet, and I was never the same.
And I felt like oh Jesus, and I felt like my head was about to explode. And I got up there with my maple wooden bat, and I hit a bomb to right field. You were on this team, by the way. I'm surprised you don't remember.
Yeah.
Second to the shot heard around the world.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point being is, after that, I never understood why Guy Rob got so much more attention than me.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, I do like attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's whether it's a fault or a good trait, however you want to call it. And I was hurt by that. Not to digress too much.
It's he got his comeuppance. Guy Rob went to University of Pacific in California, rushed A-Pi,
right,
and was kicked out by Standards Board. So you're the big winner. Guy Rob is out on the street, and here you are.
35 minutes to the hour, and we're going to throw Rye a little bone here, actually. We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers. Rye, first things first, okay? A lot of movement this offseason, obviously. Is this, obviously with Rollins and Kendrick and Grandal and McCarthy, Anderson, coming from a 94-win team who went all the way to the NLCS championship, was this necessary?
Yes.
Why?
Well, a couple things. One, the Dodgers up the middle had very, very poor defense last year. If you look at Matt Kemp in center field, can't play center field anymore. You force Puig there, out of position. You get Jock Peterson, throw you back a bone. Jock Peterson, a Jew. His name is the good Joctor.
Right.
So that's exciting. And then D. Gordon, someone who had a terrific first half, but really just a terrific first month. And then after that was downhill the rest of the season. He just said he didn't feel like he slumped, but just because his batting average stayed the same. But batting average also an imperfect stat. But I digress. Anyway, the point, D. Gordon, a great sell-high opportunity. A lot of, we get Andrew Heaney for 2 minutes, but you could essentially turn D. Gordon into Howie Kendrick, who's a better fielder, better hitter. You get Jimmy Rollins from the Phillies. So you have now up the middle, great defense in the infield. Jock Peterson in center field. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Your whole up the middle defense is better.
Right.
A bunch of buy low, low risk, high reward opportunity guys on the pitching staff. Brett Anderson, Brandon McCarthy.
Right.
Brett Anderson's someone who can be elite when healthy. Granted, he's never healthy, but this is a better team.
Okay. And listen, that's a good point, and you watch them more than anyone does. But do you say, all right, we lost Herron, we lost Beckett. Now these are guys, so while inconsistent, they're veteran guys. Billingsley, right? And who we're replacing them with is not exactly,
I mean, Chad Billingsley hasn't pitched in 18 months, so I don't think Beckett was done in the middle. He threw a no-hitter, but beyond that, whatever. Herron was pretty much exactly an average player. If you look at his stats, it was pretty much average. So yeah, we get, Kershaw's been reliable. You count on him. Greinke, one more year before he opts out, most likely. Ryu, one of the most underrated pitchers in the game.
Yeah,
and you put in Anderson, McCarthy. They signed Brandon Beachy. I'm mistaken. Yeah, so all these guys.
Right.
I think I think they can figure out a 5. Also, not a team that's been afraid to trade at the deadline. So
no, that's the truth.
I'm not concerned about the pitching.
Listen, that's a good point. And they did. I do like what they did with the lineup. Because by bringing in Rollins and Kendrick, these are two. The two obviously very demanding positions, but especially Kendrick and Grandal, you really beefed up the bottom of that lineup. Because yes, you could look at a guy like Matt Kemp and say, well, there was still a lot of upside there. I know he's been hurt for a while, but here's a kid who can, he can put the ball out of the park. 5-tool player when healthy. But
can I just say,
yes,
I love it when you call people kid who are in their 30s. It's really a nice touch. I want a 19-year-old. Like
I want to fit in with
there's
my
that kid, Bobby Cox,
and
that kid, Tom Willis. He knows what he's doing in the front office.
Well, how would you like me to refer to them?
A player. I love it when you call them kid. It's great. Keep it up.
Hey, thanks,
I'm sure it makes
man.
them feel young.
Thanks, man. I will. 35 minutes passed. And, here's the thing, though, okay? This is my point that I want to make on the Dodgers. Take Grandal for a second. Here's a catcher. Obviously, you have the whole steroid thing a few years back, but take that out of the equation. Let's assume you're past that. Here's a kid who can bop out 15, 20 home runs. Can drive in 80 ribbies. I know you hate that. But now, you're putting it, he's a catcher. That's such a value position. Where outfielders, you're always going to find outfielders.
Well, the Dodgers already have 9 outfielders.
Right, and who can hit the ball out of the park. And so I think that was really a tremendous move. Honestly, I think it was a stupid move on San Diego's part.
San Diego is really quite a fascinating team to watch this year, where they have 3 right-handed power-hitting outfielders, a very rare commodity in today's league.
Right.
None of whom can play center field.
Right.
They have the worst offensive infield in baseball.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. And that pitching is going to be an issue, too. I don't know exactly what to see is going
to happen, so...
Right.
Well, I don't know if that pitch is going to be an issue. They got Cashner, Tyson Ross. They got James Shields. They got some people.
They're relying a lot on James Shields. That's my...
Well, if there's one thing you can do with James Shields, you can rely on him. Is he a star? No. He pitches all the time. He throws more innings than anyone else.
Right.
They shouldn't call him Big Game James, just Game. Let's call him Game James.
Game James, I like that.
Game Shields.
Yeah,
He's always in games.
Might make a little bit more sense. Now, all right, Don Mattingly. Is he on the hot seat?
Not scalding. It's toasty.
Okay.
A Southern California night.
But if he, let's say, 90-win team, 90-plus, makes the playoffs, loses in the first round to the Cardinals, goodbye?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit too familiar.
Probably.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah,
He's not great. He's not the worst. He does this weird thing all the time where he'll have a pitcher. It'll be like the 8th or 7th inning. He'll not send up a pinch hitter. Let the pitcher hit. And then take the pitcher out.
You've always said this
I
many
don't
times
understand what
before.
this is.
Well,
it does not make any sense to me.
Right.
Don, if you're listening,
Don.
What can it possibly be? Just
Don's
to get them
people
reps?
listen, so, you know, I'll tell them.
Yeah,
to
Preston Mattingly, P Money on Twitter.
Very good. Very good stuff on the Dodgers. A few more news and notes around the league. Chris Sale likely not to be ready for opening day, obviously with the fractured his right foot. Listen, this is a White Sox team that's on the up and up, and you hope that he is good for a lot of the season. Here's a guy who, between, yes, they got Samardzija, Quintana has been pitching well, Danks, Noesi, and obviously the timeless Brad Penny, who still gives me nightmares from the 2003 World Series. It's a deep rotation, but if you have Sale at the top, it just makes it that much more scary.
Only question I have is if Daniel Murphy agrees with Chris Sale's lifestyle. Because if not...
Giancarlo Stanton hit by a pitch the other day wearing his new face mask, by the way.
It's a smart mask. I'm going to wear that.
Did you see that?
I got to wear that to class. There are bikers everywhere. I need an elbow to the jaw.
Don't get me started on the bikers here. Andrew,
I
are
don't
you
agree
a biker?
with that lifestyle.
You're not a biker. Good, because I'm about to go on a rampage against them, okay? These bikers, they go so damn fast, and it's like you need a license. I got friends who don't have licenses who would be safer driving a car than he would, than these people
on
would.
A bike?
Yes. It's unbelievable to me. You need you need to take the wutv out of Bear's Den and open the box.
Yeah.
And put them on the streets with these bikers.
I think if I just take a deep breath and consider what you just said, I realize how insane it is. You're saying unlicensed drivers are less of a hazard than bikers. You're saying you want the WashU police force reallocated to, I don't know what, like shooting bikers? But I agree with you 100%. Good plan.
43 minutes till the hour, and
that was good. Get this man for office. Oh, too bad those elections just happened. Treasurer, VP, to sue Congress.
Sue, I finally hung up. I'm no longer going to be on the Olin Business Council next year. I hung it up. I couldn't do it. Too much of a commitment.
Really?
Yeah.
You've always been afraid of commitment.
Like second semester of last year. That's my dream. This is my dream.
You know who wouldn't have quit? Guy Rob. He'd still be there.
I actually think, come to think of it, this is the truth. I think that Derek, you remember Derek?
Mm-hmm.
I think Derek was dating Guy Rob's mom. You think I'm kidding? I'm telling the
truth. And this is not a man who would just make wild accusations about adultery without some evidence. So I'm ready for your evidence
adultery.
now.
Derek was a grown man.
Yeah, Guy Rob's had a father. What do you? But I think Daniel Murphy has no problem with that lifestyle. I'm sure, right? No?
Real hard-hitting knocks on Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, sorry, Daniel Murphy.
44 minutes
More
till the hour.
bigots.
KWUR at Clayton 90.3 FM. Back after this. All right, 46 minutes passed here on the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program. KWUR Clayton 90.3 FM and simulcast across the country via wutv. And we're going to do one more quick PSA here so we don't get in trouble by our good friends here at KWUR.
Father involvement. ¿Usted sabías que el 35% de los niños hispanos viven sin su padre? No seas uno de ellos. Pasa más tiempo con tus hijos. Es importante disfrutos. Ser papá es cosa de hombres. Visita www.fatherhood.org para más información. Mensaje traído a ti por el National Fatherhood Initiative, el Ad Council y esta estación.
47 minutes past. Des Bryant gets the franchise tag. And Rye, what's going on with this? I mean, the video comes out of who knows what. For all we know, he could have been doing a radio show. And now, all of a sudden, he's making $13 million. He's not happy. Cowboys are probably happy. They're probably saving themselves a little bit of money here. But what's going on?
Well, I, like everyone else, does not know what is going on with this. So I think we could invite 60 seconds of wild speculation from the two of us. I think he went down to University of Dallas.
Right.
Rushed API, became the house manager, and was not taking care of his responsibilities. He was giving out loans. It's a little too loud.
There are enough people watching this.
I don't think that he was doing a good job.
New York Jets at number 6 in the NFL draft. I don't want to get Ryan's thoughts on this because Ryan is quite the Jets aficionado. You know, I was telling Charlie this the other day when I was filling in on your show. I actually had a dream. I don't dream that much about football. But I actually had a dream that the Jets traded up to number 1 to take Jameis Winston.
Wow.
And I'm laughing because Ben Bass just texted me, Teddy, if I wanted to know the time every minute, I would just check a clock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason why I do this is because this is a nationally syndicated show. And so I want to make sure that our audience is on the same page where we are.
Exactly.
You know?
That makes sense.
Anyway, New York Jets, what do you think about Mariota?
I mean,
is he going to fall to them? Do you want him?
I think it wouldn't be that surprising to me if he fell down to 6. Just one of those things where people just sort of fall. I mean, when the season ended, everyone said Mariota number 1, no question.
Right.
Now it changes. Mariota is definitely suffering for the system he ran in college, which was simple-ish.
Right.
Didn't make a lot of complex reads. Wasn't doing nothing, but wasn't doing as much as Jameis. Is that Mariota's fault? Of course not. Does that mean he's not as sophisticated as Jameis? No, but that's the way it works. So that's how Jameis could be falling to the Jets. I think they should take him.
You do.
I
So
don't
you're
know.
saying you've given up on Geno Smith?
I have not given up on Geno Smith whatsoever. I would be happy to see them not take a quarterback at 6 or trade down. I think trading down is always the optimal thing to do.
Right.
If you're in the top 10, you have a lot of needs. The Jets could use a lot of things. They could use a lineman. They could use a corner. They could use a pass rusher, another receiver. So I'd like to see them trade down. Is that going to happen? Probably not. I'm looking for, I think it's kind of likely they take a receiver. I'm thinking Kevin White or Amari Cooper. Something I'm looking at McShay or Kuiper, whoever this is. It has Mariota to them going 6. I mean, people talk Dante Fowler. A lot of people have them.
Right.
You know,
I'm kind of hoping that White falls to the Giants. We'll get into that in a second.
So,
but last question on this. You know, now obviously everything's been said that needs to be said about Rex Ryan. Now, you know, new regime. They obviously get him out, get the new guy in. Is it the same situation with the quarterback here? Do they look, if Mariota falls into their laps, do they look at this and they say, oh, you know what, well, we got the new head coach, we got the new GM, let's get a new quarterback in here, let's just start this whole thing over again? I don't
think that's necessary. I mean, that's sort of an arbitrary way to run it. I mean, I think if Todd Bowles and Mike McCagnon, they sort of do some institutional research and think there's something there with Geno, then they'll give it a shot. You don't have to necessarily start up with the quarterback, so I think, is that amusing you?
No, I'm getting more funny texts. I'm not going to read any of them on the air, though. But yeah, that's a good point. New York Giants at number 9. And, you know, the Giants do have they have a history of, last year's draft was a good one, but obviously you hit the home run with Beckham. But on the defensive side of the ball, we have not seen the JPP, the Justin Tuck, that honestly, Corey Webster for how many years he was good, that we really got used to seeing in those with Jerry Reese in those mid-2000s. And there's a lot, that the Giants could do here. They could go back, on this thought. They could go for an N, Eric Armstead, Shane Ray, Dupree, Fowler. A lot of these guys are very intriguing.
I mean, I'll give you someone a deep sleeper, a dark horse for the Giants at 9. People, laugh it out, but I talked to, my good friend Giants aficionado Charles Dow. Charlie Thao, and he thought
Right.
he sort of agreed that a sneaky pick for them could be Chucky Badu, the fullback out of Louisiana State. Do you take fullback 9 very often? No.
No.
I mean, that's positional value, but they're talking about, best player available.
Right.
Does he fit a need? It's questionable, but you get that kind of talent on the team. You could always use more speed.
Right.
So keep an eye on Chucky Badu.
Right. All right, I will. A lot of these mock drafts also have Brandon Scherf going to the Giants. Now, listen, a lineman, yes, you could use a lineman in this situation. I'm a fake fan, so to speak, and a lineman.
Of the Lions?
A lineman.
Oh.
I'm a fake fan, and in this situation, I would like to see them, I would like to see a more exciting player. I talked about this with Charlie, and you, someone who knows more football than I look at the Giants and I say, you know what? You got Rashad Jennings, right? But I would love to see a big-time running back on this team. Now, and I brought up a Melvin Gordon, right? And it would be a little bit of a reach to take him at number 9. But is that a position that, you could see them going towards?
I think the thing with running back is that, as anyone will tell you, it's a very, very deep draft for running backs. There are about 11 guys who could start, most likely. So I think the Giants, with the kind of needs they have at the line, they could use someone in the secondary. Middle linebacker for the last 30 years, they could use one. I don't see them taking a running back at 9. You can get a starter around 2 or 3, even 4 this year.
Right.
So
right.
I would be surprised.
Right, I agree. And then listen, at wide receiver, you obviously it's pretty deep right now between Beckham, Randall, Cruz.
Preston Parker.
But right, Preston Parker. But, again, if you can get a Kevin White slipping to number 9, I know they have an interview scheduled with Amari Cooper. That could be
I wonder if
something.
they would do it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's the truth. So, you know what? It'll be an interesting draft. I mean, number 1, do you see the Bucs going anywhere but Jameis Winston?
No, he's like visiting now. It's unprecedentedly early for him to do it. He'll take Jameis. 2, probably be Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
Then it gets
to the
interesting.
Titans.
Then
yeah,
it gets
it does.
interesting.
Now, do you see, between are the Redskins going to take a quarterback? Or the Raiders probably won't.
No.
But are the Jags, are they sticking with Bortles?
Yeah, they'll stick with Bortles at least for this year. I'd be shocked if they didn't. I mean, if you go down the list, I mean, we take it for granted the Bucs will take Jameis. Titans, I don't know exactly why.
Right.
I mean, I know why they roll with Mettenberger, because they took him, and these teams never give up on their own guys. Granted, it's been 1 year. I don't see much there. But let's say they don't take a quarterback. Jags, have Bortles, don't see them taking one. Raiders with Carr, don't see that. Redskins, the Redskins, you never know, but I don't see it. Jets, who knows? Bears, no. Falcons, no. Giants, no. Then you're down to 10 with the quarterback. So there's some mock drafts out there saying Mariota going 10 to the Rams.
Right.
Which at first seemed crazy.
That is
making it to 10. But
keep the
I don't
team
know.
in St. Louis, no?
Yeah, there's good stuff out here, Marcus. Me, you, and Marcus. We'll go on an outing. Demo ball. And next thing you know, Marcus Mariota will be at the draft, and he'll have be making his cover photo, some sort of animal in space. And Marcus Mariota.
I finally changed my profile picture today from
Space Mariota.
from the Rush AE Pie picture. I figured, my initial thought process was I wanted to wait till spring break to see if I got a good one, but then I thought I'm thinking too much like a girl if I do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to do that. So
no,
I figured,
never want to think like girls, because they're not as good as boys. Don't think like girls.
Keep your religious beliefs to yourself.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, what else you got?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You're a Giants fan.
Right.
What's more important to you? The Giants get an elite pass rusher?
Right.
Or a good API rush class? Which rush it's keeping you up at night?
That's a tough question.
I know, your pals could be listening.
I'm going to have to go with the Pledge class. And I'll tell you, it's an easy answer for me.
That's why you don't sign up Des Bryant.
It's an easy answer for me because I love to talk about sports. I'm going to be very honest with you.
I know nothing about sports.
I have fun when my team loses.
I love it.
And I have people to talk about it with and to share my misery with. Mm-hmm. It's not fun, but it's entertaining. You understand the difference?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that fair for me to say?
I mean, it says, that there are
Do you think
fans
that
like
Craig
that.
Carton is crying?
No, I don't think Craig Carton is. I think Chucky McBucket's our friend Charlie Thao. He's worse than crying after Giants games. He can't cry.
But
everything
that's why
is dead inside of him.
Charlie McFarley is never going to be more than not a Ken Rosenthal.
That's a height-related jab.
Who's the football guy? Adam Schefter.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be great at it, and he'll make a lot of money. But what he's never going to do is he's never going to be sitting in the anchor seat.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree with you there wholeheartedly. Todd. Disagree with you there, Todd. Charlie McBuckets, great explosion, strong lower half. That's my Mel Kiper impression. Chalky McBuckets is my co-host. He's the best football mind in the biz.
He's a great.
No
one knows more
He'll
than
give you
he
transactions. He's going to be a star in the league. You'll be laughing.
He will be a star in the league. I'm just saying that that's the difference. That real sports fans, they can't talk it because they get too emotionally invested and they can't have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you should go give a talk to the Yankees. Boys, just a game. We're having fun. Come on.
Just a game, right?
Come by the house. Come by the boneyard.
Spread the love around. So anyway, what else you got going on this week? You got a lot of work?
I do have one more test tomorrow. Then I'm going home.
What's
you
it
won't
in?
be on my history of conservatism. But it's actually this really tough quiz. It's like they give us a name of everyone in the Bath and Tennis Club, and they just give faces, and we have to put everyone's name. And it's not hard because everyone's name is Norm. But the problem is my hand, the writing Norm is a very specific kind of movement on the wrist. And after you've written Norm 30 times, your ends get sloppy. It looks like you're writing Dorm or Storm. And their name is not Storm. It's all Norm.
57 minutes till the hour, getting ready with Teddy. And
I am seeing Libby. That's exciting.
Before we end it up here, here's the thing. Let me tell you something, okay?
Everyone at Bath and Tennis, I do not have a limp handshake.
This. Back when we had the internet stream working for the radio station,
the good old days.
The shows that I would do in the spring, my dad would drive around Bath and Tennis in his car with my thing turned all the way up, and I would call him after the show, and he'd be like listening to it on repeat.
He'd be in the bath playing tennis. Little tiny tennis.
He'd be listening to it on repeat. And I would hear him rolling down the window saying, "Hey, listen, it's my son. He's on the radio."
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? I get quite a picture of that. If only people cared half as much in Bath and Tennis about my stolen shoes, I think I'd have shoes today.
He just left like a puddle of snot on the tennis court.
All right. I put my shoes outside Teddy's door. I came back 2 minutes later. They were gone. Like, is this Bath and Tennis or crime and crime?
We'll end it on that note. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Rye, great job. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dream come true.
Tuning back, Andrew Ellison at the
Norm.
controls. Of course, he does a tremendous job. And we will have a great spring break. It's actually going to be a while since we're next on the air. Wishing Alex Altieri good luck in his interview. And that's about all I have. 8:59. Have a good night.